if you take something like eating and drinking, something so ordinary and mundane, something that's so necessary, it's almost like naturally, one perspective, you might think naturally sort of a very gruddy, sort of in the mud, get your hands dirty kind of thing, because it's, of course, if you're eating and drinking, then you're peeing and pooping. It's just kind of like the cycle of, we put food in our bodies and we excrete the waste. It's just kind of like we're these little machines, and we can get in this mindset of thinking that way. And a lot of times that's kind of seems like the way our society wants us to think about ourselves. But despite such it being such an ordinary thing, eating and drinking, such a thing, regardless of your system of belief, whether you're a Christian, where you believe in holy things, or whether you believe everything's profane, whether you believe we're just chance occurrences in a chaos of matter, or something more, we all eat and drink. And we all eat and drink in a way that belies a fundamental truth that some of us believe in and others don't. And that is that we are more than a material existence. No one eats simply for utilitarian reasons. No one eats just for sustenance. I mean, there may be occasions when you're hungry, you're starving, really starving, not first world starving, third world starving, and you have to eat, and there's only something, and you are eating just for sustenance. But those are the outliers. They perhaps happen more often in our world than we like to draw our attentions to, but it's not the normal way, obviously, that things should be. It's not the way things have to be. But that's discussion for another time. But anyway, we eat and drink, and if you eat and drink for taste at all, for joy or pleasure, for for flavor, for any purpose other than simply energy in, energy out, then you don't eat like a machine. If you eat for taste, even when you're hungry, you're not even eating like an animal. You're eating like a human. You're eating like something more. You're eating as if eating is something more. And eating and drinking just has become so much, even beyond that. Eating and drinking are so powerful to be so ordinary and natural, in that eating and drinking, that's the start. That's usually the spark, the fuel that begins cultures and communities, is eating and drinking. Arguably, all cultures are centered around their eating and drinking, and the rituals and relationships and the customs that revolve around eating and drinking. Think about the Gospels. And when the Pharisees talk to Jesus, they are always confronting him about various things, but how many of them have to do with eating and drinking? How many of his metaphors have to do with washing dishes or with tithing mint herbs, or devouring widows' houses, or eating his flesh and drinking his blood, or referring to things such as, his disciples get in trouble for picking wheat to eat on the Sabbath, because it's not lawful to do work, and they were in the fields picking wheat. There's a lot. Food is a big deal, and eating and drinking is a big deal. And when you sit down with a meal with someone, I mean, I would be hard pressed to tell you any relationship I have that I couldn't trace its start to a meal or a shared some food or drink of some kind. It would be hard to find a relationship that didn't, like, the relationship didn't start with some shared food or drink. It's just what we do. When we get together to celebrate anything, what do? We have food and drink. Birthdays, cake and ice cream. Champagne. Whatever it is. Well, we just always run to food and drink. We can't help ourselves. Eating and drinking is such a natural and supernatural thing, and those are not opposed to one another. It's a simple, ordinary act, and it is mysterious. It simply fuels our body, and it also builds relationships and communities and cultures. We do it to sustain our lives when we're hungry. And we do it for the pure pleasure of it, even when we're not hungry. And so it's profane and it's holy. It's a sacrament. Just ordinary family meal, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Holy things throughout the week. So it's no wonder that then when Jesus institutes the Lord's Supper, like this is like the most natural way to, this is the most ordinary thing. This is the most natural, reasonable, logical thing for him to do, to say, share bread, share wine together. And when you do this, it'll be my memorial. You'll be celebrating my life, remembering my death, claiming my resurrection and my life that I freely give you with forgiveness and faith, hope, and love. It's so simple. It's so perfect. The question isn't why did he pick bread and wine? The question really is, why would he have picked anything else? And what a better way to start the relationships that he truly longs for each of us to have, right? This is my command, that you love one another. That's his parting words to us at the end of the book of John, as he's talking to his disciples after the Lord's Supper. He says, this is my command, that you love one another. So we're to sit down. He says, get together, share a meal, eat and drink and be merry. Remember what I've done for you. Remember the love that I've shown you. I know just as I have loved you, love one another. And so, around a family table, the most wonderful, holy moment in existence happens when Christians in love share bread and wine together in Jesus' name. I don't know. There's something so utterly wonderful about that, and something so extraordinarily simply simple. It's beautiful. And anyway, thanks for listening.